Okay, is my sound still okay? I switched to my Yeti.
You sound good, Heather.
You sound good.
Okay.
And when I invite Craig, when I kick him out, I am immediately downloading everything from Craig because I was a dum-dum last time.
You know dum-dum, me dum-dum.
You were a tiny lollipop?
Yes, Mike, I was a tiny lollipop.
Me no dum-dum, you dum.
Very stupid lollipop.
You bring me gum-gum?
My dum-dum want to say something.
How does that look, Heather?
There were two conversations going on. You were singing
Sorry.
about lollipops, and then she was talking about dum-dums or something.
I was engaging with Mike's non sequitur.
I was quoting Night at the Museum.
I'm pretty sure Mike was also quoting.
Yeah, it just took me a second. My brain was like, wait, two conversations. Okay. And then it was processing.
I would like it confirmed on tape that butterscotch is the best dum-dum flavor. Fight me.
Ew.
Apple.
Yeah.
Blue raspberry.
Green apple's pretty good too.
Oh,
Ew.
Angela. Don't even know you. It's just like what happened earlier with Tessa. My God.
What do you mean?
She
What did she-
made me she was very sweet and made me a grilled cheese sandwich. And she asked me if I would like it cut in half. And I said, yes, please. And then she turned the plate and almost cut it into rectangles. And I was like, you're going to do... I was about to stop her. I'm like, no, let's let this play out because this is going to tell me a lot about my wife. And then she turned the plate and cut it into triangles.
Triangles are just more aesthetically fun to eat.
100%.
It was. I spaced out for a moment. I was never actually going to cut it into rectangles. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right.
Mike has no clue why this is important.
No,
Fun-
I'm like
it's
trying
sandwich feng shui.
No, you have to you have to cut it in diagonal.
Yeah.
But only,
Okay, all right. Okay, good. We're all on the
only
same
if you're
page.
eating it on a plate. Because if you have to put it into a Ziploc,
Yes.
cutting it into rectangles is much more efficient.
Correct.
Nope, still do it. Still do triangle.
No, it's still diagonal.
Yeah, I still do triangle. But I literally said to her, I said, I almost learned something crazy about you. That would have been a I don't even know who you are type moment.
Can you tell it's been a
Oh.
while?
Hi, Logan.
Hi. Hello all. And welcome to Shenanigoons.
Okay, then.
Is that your new NPC you're testing out?
Yes.
I like him.
I'll never be able to do it again.
Bjorn, the DM fiat.
Your sleep number is 5.
Ah.
We're all over the place right now.
I have all of Bjork's albums on vinyl.
There is no consistency to any of this.
You say that like there ever is.
So
There's
when
a
are we
little
going to
bit
start?
at least.
When do we hit record?
10 minutes ago.
I'm still counting down from 14.
Craig's always been recording.
We all started 10 minutes ago.
It's okay, we're getting back into the groove of not actually playing for 15 minutes.
I'd like to apologize.
All right, so we're gonna do this. Hello, everyone. This is Logan, and all of my favorite people are here, and some of my not favorite people. No, and some of my favorite people are not here.
Oh.
That's not what I meant. I meant the other way.
Hello.
I'll leave. Bye.
Anyway,
Hi.
I have lots of favorite people. Only 5 of them are here. There, that's that.
You're not counting yourself as a favorite person?
Yes, I am.
You hang out with yourself all the time. One would hope you're your favorite person.
Self-love
Yes, I
is
am.
important.
I am counting myself, so you guys can work out the math.
And welcome to
Uh,
today's Battle Royale to figure out who that...
Who's Logan's favorite?
Everything is Kyle's fault. It's Kyle.
Oh,
Who is
Aw.
Logan's fault? No.
who is
Hello.
Logan's fault?
Who is Logan's favorite?
I made you grilled cheese, so.
You almost cut it into rectangles.
Jeez.
So do we want to do like a save point intro kind of thingy?
Save point. This is the save point.
I don't know.
I like it.
Shenanigans, shenanigans, shenanigans.
I don't even know if I remember all the words to Shenanigoons. It's been so long.
Shenanigoon save point where all your episodes have passed. I don't know.
I'm Top Cat, the saves warlock.
Heavens to Murgatroyd, do you want any deals?
Oh my god.
We have some deep coupons. Would you like them?
He should be the coupon mage.
Coupon mage.
Top Cat, the coupon mage.
Holy crap.
Ashport, a city on the brink. The winds of the restless sea are thick with the soot and grime of progress. The continent of Valdara is a land of adventure and magic, and while it is dragged through the smoke and into the light of a modern age, the Birchfield Institute and its operatives, the Proctors, lead the charge. Shenanigoons, save point, episode 8 through 15, party time, excellent, woo. No, we're totally not trying to get sued, don't sue us.
Welcome to Shenanigoons, everybody. Today is our save point in between arcs.
You finished the first arc.
Woohoo!
We did. We're going to be covering episode 8 through the most recent episode. Because I don't know what number that's going to be yet.
15.
And our characters are leveling.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start by just recapping the episodes really quick and talking about some of our favorite moments. Over this whole time, or at the end of this, what I'd like to do is also just pull out one moment over the past half arc, it's our last save point, that is very, very important to each character. Like their big defining moments. So we'll do the recaps first, and then at the end of that, you each can pull out one moment that is kind of like important to your character. So we'll start with episode 8, Smushton, where the players finally descended into the Underdark. It's a shallower area of the Underdark, so not as dangerous as it ends up being. And you come across a relatively amicable young man named
Pugnut.
Pugnut the Goblin.
Pugnut the Goblin.
We love Pugnut.
Pugnut is best goblin.
And he was scraping off what you later learned was some sort of edible fungus off the wall, mushrooms that retained moisture that had seeped from the walls of the caves, which they then took and turned into smush wine, which is not actually wine, but some sort of fermented drink that looks kind of reddish that they bottled, and it was very popular in that town. They had one other drink in the town that you guys did not partake in.
Sticky mud.
Then I later partook of it.
Which is a very powerful sort of, I'm going to chew it. If you ever had Peppacoa, it's kind of like that, actually.
It's a cough syrup.
It was my understanding, at least to other residents of the Underdark, that it's a really good degreaser.
Yes, that's true. But also, it's probably has kind of a Jaeger kind of taste to it.
Mixed with peat moss, maybe.
Yeah, a peat mossy, like maybe like an anise and tarragon flavor.
Wow.
It's just not quite.
This does not make it sound more appealing in any way, shape, or form.
It's alcohol. It's not supposed to be appealing.
People drink it to preserve their livers.
Pickle them, you mean?
So I'll let somebody else pick up from there and continue talking about Smushton.
Okay, who wants to talk about Smushton? I will do so if no one else wants to.
Go for it. You can talk about the Smushton.
Recap, the reason we're down in the Underdark is to seek the elemental grimoire for the Institute.
So Smushton is a town of goblins. I would assume town rather than city.
Village, yeah.
Village, okay. They seem to have a bit of a mushroom-based economy and hobbies, and we spent a little time there since they were pretty amicable, and we found out from a few of the locals, including Pugnut, that they've had problems with being very small folk. They've had problems with, predators and stuff, and there's a particular monster that they call a Pinchron, that took out a couple of their people, or picked off a few people outside of town, and we offered our services in taking out the creature in exchange for help getting to the next leg of our questing journey. We have a map, and Smushton was followed by the Canyon of Fur. So Pugnut agreed he'd take us to the Canyon of Fur in exchange for hunting a Pinchron, which pinch run, just to tread that delightful name again. So we fought a Pinchron, which was a large, the cave fisher, sort of like a crustacean-y, scorpion-y underground monster with sticky filaments and stuff. So we fought that and were able to, I think, collect some stuff off it, including some of that filament. And then, as thank you, Pugnut took us to the entrance to the Canyon of Fur, which was relatively furry.
And please note that Arthur had taken the 5th filament.
It was love.
Very nice.
She was like 2 weeks old. That's real creepy.
Agreed. So
Canyon of Fur. So the Canyon of Fur is very furry. I know, personally speaking, Merrick was having a time because it was like up to his chest in most places. So he's just wandering through this furry cave, and not in a fun way.
And he couldn't see.
Nope. There was only 2 members of our party with dark vision, and they were kind of leading us around when it was not safe to use light. We encountered, not closely, but we heard someone issuing commands to some creature that we didn't see. Then we snuck past an Etin. We had who we'd confused by shooting a light arrow into his bowl, and this is an arrow with light on it, not the legendary arrows with which you slay Ganon.
and an Etin was a large giant creature that had 2 heads that seemed to have sort of a theatrical happy and sad thing going on between the 2 of them.
Yep.
Zaphod.
But wasn't one of them bald and the other one had like a luxuriously long set of like Sebastian Bach
True.
hair?
I believe that was
Yes.
true.
Something like that.
I think the one with the luxurious hair might have been the one in a slightly better mood.
Fair enough.
I think he was the one that liked the light.
Yes.
So we continued on, and then was it yeah,
There was a
then we
spider
ran into
thing.
the creepy spider with hands. The little
Chaldrith, I
hand Chaldrith, yeah.
The one that stabbed Val.
That son of a bitch.
Managed to get the drop on us, which of course was interesting, given the more perceptive members of our party.
Not hard when most of us can't see.
It had been following us for a while, too.
Yeah.
It had weird fingers.
We killed it, and we encountered Abe's, who is a bugbear, and his companion Nugget, which is some sort of weird mutant
Dog deer?
deer, dog, naked mole rat. And he fed us, told us, about the next leg on our journey. We managed to trade the Chaldrith corpse for food and directions. And he said that we should call him, or like use a summoning signal of some sort to call him once we made our way back.
Call of the Night Bat.
Which, caw. Thank you. I was going to ask.
But he warned us that the next particular leg of our journey would be even more dangerous, and that we would need to be absolutely silent for the entire journey.
Which we're great at.
Yeah, that was going to make things interesting for us.
The next leg in our journey he called the Wailing Cairns.
It's not the same as the Wailing Karens.
Yeah.
That was very different.
Yes.
One thing we need to make sure we don't forget is that Abe's had seen a couple days before we came down some other people going by that also had the all-seeing eye symbol of the Institute. And we don't know if they're proctors. We don't know if they're people who just happen to be carrying Institute gear. We have no idea, but we know they're a couple days ahead of us.
The symbol was on a box that they were carrying.
Yeah, he didn't know if he'd seen any pins,
Yeah.
but it added a bit of urgency to our trip from then on, that somebody had gotten ahead of us on our trip to the Elemental Grimoire.
Yes, which Adelaide in particular was not very pleased about.
Not so much. No.
So in the Wailing Cairns, initially we weren't sure exactly what was happening because we could hear some buzzing and see some bioluminescence, but not a whole lot else, except for Val and Bonnie, who are the only 2 with dark vision. But we very slowly were creeping through and eventually came to realize that there were a lot of very strange looking insects in the whaling cairns, and these insects were the source of the buzzing. And they had 3 different forms of bugs, but they all seemed to be associated with each other, and their little sort of hives were giving off the bioluminescence. So we spent a lot of time very quietly and very carefully shuffling through the darkness, trying not to make any noise, because we didn't want thousands upon thousands of bugs to attack us. Eventually, there was one point where one actually landed on Arthur, and we had to figure out how to get it off of him without him getting stung.
We're real competent, you guys.
That took about a couple hours.
A little bit, yeah. But we were quiet.
Level 3. Level 3.
Not anymore.
A great combination of trying to trap it in an alms box. It almost went up Adelaide's sleeve. Merrick had to cut Adelaide's sleeve. And all of these things are happening in the dark. So we're also having to make sure we don't accidentally stab each other or fall on each other or pinch each other's faces with the alms box.
Well, actually, in this one, you had the luminescence of their nests. Once you got to that point,
that's true.
The entire thing was luminescenced over. So the cave was fairly, it was very dimly lit, but you did have a little bit of light. You could see outlines and make out textures and things.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about the more bioluminescence at that spot. So we kept going and going and going, and the cairns did not end quickly.
Nope.
And eventually we made our way out after almost getting attacked by the bugs.
Somebody made noise. It's fine.
We ended up being able to distract them with a well-timed thaumaturgy spell, so they attacked the spot where the thaumaturgy noise was instead of us, and we got ourselves GTFO as fast as we could.
That should have been the title of the arc. GTFO.
And then when we got to the end of the cairns, we found a safer place to make camp just outside where there were no bugs. We're getting ready to settle in, and all of a sudden we see someone running at us out of the darkness and running towards us, freaked out, running from something that we can't see. It ended up being a cleric, one of the proctors who Abe's had seen going in a couple days ahead of us.
That's right.
This cleric, what turned out to be ultimately a proctor with a silver pin, and he was shot just as he reached us by a black arrow with black fletching and some sort of green ooze coming out of the wound on his back.
Which we have pretty much... We're like, okay, that's probably poison, right? That's probably poison.
For sure, it's poison.
Right. And Val was not able to save him. He was dead. Dead.
Okay.
Dead. That guy was real dead.
My memory is horrible.
This is the last one I have a good memory of.
I'm gonna just do the interjections here and there.
That's totally fine.
So we, having a moment after this cleric was down in front of us, decide to look him over and discover he was a silver level proctor, which I believe is a level above us.
Yep.
Given the knowledge of Adelaide's books that she has with her, we just kind of make a educated guess that there are dark elves who none of us have really heard of before, except for in Adelaide's book, there was a sketch of one.
Let me clarify really quick. That was not one of her textbooks. That's like a drawing she made of somebody.
Oh, got it.
If that didn't come across during the episode, I'm so sorry. That was like her personal journal with drawings.
Got it.
Okay. Continue.
No worries. So Merrick disappears doing his roguey stuff, and Bonnie, looking at the picture and being a half elf, uses disguise itself to look like a female dark elf, and goes out to meet the two gentlemen waiting there with their longbows.
Yeah, that transformation seriously turned out to be like the most fucking clutch moment out of the whole end of that.
MVP of the end of the arc. Just put it out there.
Seriously.
Thank God for comprehend languages in addition to it, but I could understand what was happening. So using the combination of the comprehend languages and the disguise self, she managed to convince them that she was a lost dark elf returning to the city with her entourage, and got them to agree to help the rest of the party through this labyrinth of twists and turns, and also past I believe it was a beholder.
It was a goth, I think.
The goth.
Goth.
And past the goth, where we had to give up some of our magic items to appease him.
Which is also where Merrick was found out following.
Exactly.
You want to describe the goth real quick? If we introduce a monster, I propose we describe it really quick if someone doesn't know what that is.
Go for it, because I don't remember how to describe the goth.
He looked like a beholder.
Okay.
He's a beholder with like large spade-like tentacles.
So like a big floating orb with big eye.
Oh yeah, so think a meatball that's covered in tentacles that has a large eyeball and a mouthful of sharp, pointy fangs, and some of the tentacles end in eyeballs. But this one also had like large squid-like spades on the end of some of its tentacles, and it demanded the use of magic items for his personal consumption.
Which we ended up losing several scrolls to the goth, but we managed to get through. And we were led into the Drow city safely through the labyrinth, just in time for our escorts to say we reached the end of the road and pull weapons on the rest of the party, not including Bonnie, who had disguised herself as Reed.
Which, none of us saw coming at all.
But more to the point, Jalanir, the Drow city, it is in what was at the end of our map, which was called Death's Cavern.
Death's Cavern.
So that didn't bode well in our minds for what we would find in the city. But the city is likely where the elemental grimoire would be, based on those facts.
Yeah, lucky us.
Okay, so they turn their weapons on us, and through a little bit more slick talking, Bonnie's able to, keep us from getting into a big fight, but we basically have to then assume the role of her slaves.
You felt real bad about that.
Yeah, we got a little gang pressed into doing that.
It's better than dead, though.
But it was way better than getting into a fight, so we all played along. And we were led down into the city, and because of Bonnie being both a woman, but also a woman with magical inclinations, she was introduced to some members of the higher social caste. So Lutana was sort of a hoity-toity drow lady.
She's a priestess.
Priestess, you're right.
Yeah, she was a high priestess.
Because divine magics were held in high esteem among the drow. Yep. We proceeded to stay at Lutana's place, where she had some slaves as well, including Misery, the very aptly named, slightly depressed halfling.
Poor thing.
And we all of us in our own ways sort of got taught how things worked in this place. Bonnie or Reed started getting a bit of a crash course in how she was supposed to act as someone who was superior to many members of society in Jalanir. And the rest of us were put to work doing various jobs around the house and the estate for Lutana. Adelaide and Arthur got put into the library to do some bookkeeping. Merrick was sent to the kitchens to do some manual labor cooking.
Deflumping.
I'm Flump. It's Flump.
Oh, yes, very fugu flumph, trying to carefully carve the flumph for a banquet or some sort of event that was going to happen. And Val ended up in the stables where there were spiders and bats, I believe.
Yes, and some spiders that could go invisible, the phase spiders, so that was interesting.
So we all did a bunch of work, and then I believe, someone please feel free to fill in, but the next major event of note as we were sneaking around trying to keep in communication with Bonnie was that a new set of slaves were brought in right on the heels of an announcement that there was going to be a party at the house. And so two members of what turned out to be the missing proctor party of that deceased cleric showed up. Ritfin, who was a dwarf, and Elnin, who was a water genasi. And Ritfin was... he yelled out Adelaide's name, which wasn't great. And he was one of her training class when she had first auditioned for the proctors. And he is now a silver proctor along with Elnan. So we basically had to carefully, stealthily find ways to communicate with them and figure out what our game plan was going to be.
Yep.
Bonnie also found out from Lutana that there's a spider goddess, giant spider.
Her name was Elbach, and she was an avatar of Loth.
In a big temple in the city, and she went there for a bit.
Where I also discovered the elemental grimoire through my locate object ability.
Correct. So we now have a location, but we're in a bit of a bind as to getting there. That was how that session wrapped, I think, was that the proctors showed up as slaves.
Yep.
Who wants to cover our final episode? Very exciting.
Does Logan want to do it?
We can all do it together. We're not doing one word at a time
One
like last time, though.
At a time.
No.
No.
We
Went.
Nope. Not playing
Two.
it. Not playing it. I have to edit.
Nope.
Let's be kind.
Yep.
Stars. Stars.
Oh my
Stop,
god.
stop, 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 stop.
Loth.
Lord Hobbs. Hobbs.
No, that is a different show.
We have crossed the street.
Spider.
Okay, anyway.
And cut.
I'll keep going if nobody wants to keep doing it. Oh. Okay, chime in when you want. I'll start it.
Bonnie splits the party.
Banana phone.
Ring, 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 ring.
Oh yes,
ring.
Bonnie did split the party very much.
Almost perpetually in that episode too. We were all in different rooms.
It was so hard not to.
We had to lay low and play the parts
I was
that we
trying.
were given.
Yes, we did.
Couple of other things of note from the house. Merrick had to take his shirt off.
They kept trying to get me to beat you guys.
Yes, they did.
You left your bags in your rooms, which is important for later.
Bonnie got a fancy dress for the fancy dress party.
And Merrick snuck into the basement to grab the gloves that had been used to place the explosive collars around Elnan and Ritfin's necks. So we tested it out, and as it turned out, the gloves were right, so they were able to remove the collars and put the collars back on as needed while we were not be around.
That will be important later.
Mm-hmm.
You met a living flump.
I hid from a living flump. It did not meet me. It was a mama flump, too. It was covered in little babies that they were harvesting for food.
I ate a flump. I ate a mimic, and I ate a cave fisher.
Get the full gamut of all the creatures that we've fought.
The cave fisher, you ate the filament. They had cooked it like pasta.
Gross.
Yes, it was like spaghetti.
It sticks to the roof of your mouth.
A little bit.
So yeah, so Bonnie was getting a sort of an introduction to the cuisine of the area. The party was happening, and we were all going to sneak out during the party, I believe. It didn't really work. We ended up being...
I don't remember us having a plan, actually.
We didn't. We tried. We thought of several plans. We didn't execute any of them. In the end, what ended up happening was we tagged along with Reed, Bonnie's alias, which, is actually her name.
Tried to learn. Bonnie had to try and pull a little rank to make that happen.
Yes. Kind of put Lutana on notice.
Yeah, Tessa felt real bad about that.
Don't feel bad. She was awful.
I don't like
Agreed.
being rude to people.
Even evil people? Like mechanically evil people?
I have issues being rude to anybody.
Okay. But so there was going to be some sort of ceremony, like to welcome Reed into the society, which, small footnote, there was a blood sample, like Chekhov's blood sample, that never came to fruition during this.
Yep.
I was worried about it the entire time. But so we were going to go to the temple with Reed and some of the other drow for some sort of basically like her coming out to society party, which involved a living sacrifice to the avatar of Lolth.
They were real worried that it wasn't going to take, because if it didn't, then Bonnie was
Yes,
fucked.
it was a symbol of Lolth accepting Reed into drow society. So if that spider didn't just want to eat things and actually had some opinion on the matter, that could have been a problem.
Yeah.
So we were in the temple. Adelaide and Merrick snuck off to go find the room that had the elemental grimoire and proceeded to find more spiders. That was a bit of a theme, a motif, if you will, of the city. An invisible spider, like one of the ones that Val had encountered in the I forgot the word for stables.
Staple.
Yep, there you go. Thank you, Mike.
Arthur was super clutch in using a silent image to make it look like Adelaide and Merrick were still there.
Correct.
That was super amazing.
One by one, we all ended up over near that room. Merrick was able to parkour across the spider, the library that this book was in, and we snagged it. Was it just that one, or did you snag any other books? I don't remember.
All 3 tomes.
All 3 tomes of
three.
the Elemental Grimoire.
Very nice. It was a trilogy, and was able.
Triptych.
Sure.
Is a book in 3 parts is a triptych. Sorry.
Also a painting in 3 parts. So he got that. He was able to shuffle back across the books, and we escaped and headed out with the books in tow back to the house to try to get to Ritfin and Elnan.
Just as it exploded.
Yep. Lutana's house exploded. Presumably from those necklaces we mentioned before.
And in it was
All of Bonnie and Merrick's belongings. They had left them
Yep.
Yeah.
clothes, coat, violin, money, outfits.
Sword.
Thieves' tools.
And we needed to get out of the city post-haste, so we didn't really have time to go rummaging around the explosion zone. We did catch Ritfin and Elnan flying away on giant bats that they'd swiped from the stables. We decided to do a similar trick and try to do that too. So we snagged a couple steeds and flew the fuck away. And so we managed to escape the city. We slowly made our way back the way we came, this time by air, so we were able to bypass a lot of things, including goths and everything in the canyons. And then we went back to...
to Abe's, and we
Yes.
actually offered him the mounts.
True.
Yeah, he didn't want them though, I don't think.
He probably would have eaten them. And then we went back to Smushton for a little while, where Pugnut presented Bonnie with a thank you, which happened to happenstantially be a coat that she could wear, which was good, because her dress did not leave a lot to the imagination.
Not much.
So she has a coat, and we got out of Dodge and left the Underdark with our prize and presumably 2 of the proctors that preceded us.
Yeah, we didn't actually see them after we got to Smushton, so we're not 100%.
No
The-
confirmation, but we're confident. We're like, they're probably
Goblins
fine.
said one of the scouts said that there was
Yes.
somebody scouting out around the outskirts of the village.
Good call. Okay, so we had visual confirmation that they were probably okay. And then we wandered back home. We got back to find Ashport still standing, but a little singed. There seemed to have been some fires in the city.
Yep.
And then we leveled.
Then we leveled.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure
That is the most important.
I'm sure
part.
a couple of things happened between then and leveling, which we will talk about around now.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to go around. We'll talk about the particular moment that kind of caught each of us, each of our characters, like something that was important or something that really kind of connected to you to another player, or you to something in the world, or something you discovered about your own character during this arc. Just something important that kind of makes this arc important to you or your character. Who's got something? Who wants to go first?
For Val, I think one of the moments that was biggest for her was not being able to save the fellow cleric when he got shot. Like literally being stuck with like, I can't do anything. He just fell right in front of me, and I can't even use Revivify. Nothing. Like I've got nothing. He's just dead.
The eternal plight of the cleric. I empathize so much.
Yep.
Adelaide's was probably when they sussed out that they were probably dark elves down there. She has let's call it for now a contact, a person in her life that she knew nothing about, and that finding out what that person came from, finding out that this is what those kind of people are actually like that was very disorienting for her. So yeah.
Okay.
I think Merrick's moment was the fireside chat with Adelaide. It's a chance to converse, talk about motivations, and the fact that he might be wearing a few masks around the party that he's still not comfortable revealing with everybody. He plays with the cards close to the chest.
Yeah. Specifically for anybody watching this for the recap, Adelaide calling out Merrick's accent potentially fluctuating a little bit, just casually mentioning that she didn't acknowledged it and noticed it.
I think for Bonnie, there was a lot that affected Bonnie during this arc, especially not being from the city, not knowing, about life outside of a little tiny fishing village. It's going to sound really, really materialistic, but losing all of her ties to home just suddenly, she had that conversation with Adelaide that was really important, and realizing, everybody goes home after about a month. Everybody who leaves to go find adventure comes home within a month. And then everybody thinks that Bonnie's going to do the same thing. And now she's standing there back at the edge of the city with absolutely nothing that ties her to home. She's really feeling that urge to just get back on the ship as soon as she can and go home. So she's like, yeah, I tasted adventure. I hate it. This is not the storybooks that I was looking for. So that's kind of where she's at the end of this.
Poor Bonnie.
I saw that, Mike. Not
It
the
doesn't make it
storybooks
known.
I'm
We
looking
could-
for.
Yes. Couple things for Arthur. He was raised as an only child, so he didn't always have the best interaction with large groups of people or small groups of people even. So he felt, I think he grew a lot as part of a group rather than just being alone by himself. And learning to rely on others, figure out where he fits in that kind of makeup. His favorite part of the arc was the feast that Pugnut put on, where we just kind of ate, and I ate everything.
When we got back or when we first got there, I think we had 2 meals.
Yeah, it was the one when we got back.
Okay.
That, I happened to roll a natural 20, and it was just like the amazing moment for him, and he just was like, "This is the greatest thing ever." This big feast.
Aww.
So
Goblins, man. Goblins are rad in the games we play.
Goblins are amazing.
I agree.
and he really likes scuttle claws.
Oh, I forgot to mention those.
Ugh.
It's okay. It's best you don't know.
That's a hard pass for Bonnie.
Yeah.
Experience it with us.
Go back and listen.
And then forget about it along with us.
You can hear about them in episode 10. So go back and listen to episode 10. You can find all about scuttle claws.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember.
What did the DM learn, and what was the DM's favorite part?
Yeah, Logan, what was your favorite part?
Who was your favorite kid, or who was your favorite kid that we killed?
We didn't kill much this arc.
One of my favorite moments is honestly just watching your reactions.
Which is ironic.
Listening to your reactions. the moment when the Avatar was moving around and comes down and starts to lift the sacrifice up. And you guys are just sitting there, and you're. I know the entire time you're expecting that this thing was going to lower from the ceiling, but they told you it barely ever moves, and starts to lift up the sacrifice in the last episode, and then this idea that you're like, okay, it's eating, it's moving now, and then the rest of you are in the other room having the fight of your life that you really didn't realize, but that you're basically crawling around and kind of
Adelaide had the spider right on her boot. Like, oh god, I feel it. It's right there.
Adelaide was lifting it, but it was like, it reminded me of that scene in Tremors with Kevin Bacon where he's lifting his foot and the thing's like sliding back and forth.
Except it was an 8-legged puppy going, oh, I want to play with this a little bit. This might be a thing I can play with.
Just this idea that you know that you have no idea they're in danger, and I just love that moment of just Val going into the other room and going, okay, I'm going to go check on that just to make sure. And then Arthur, like, boop, there's another hologram. And it's just,
that timing was very cinematic. That jumping back and forth between the scenes was very fun to actually experience during game.
And then it starts to move again, and then the body just falls to the ground. And you're like, what? And you're standing there, and you have no idea what's expected of you, Bonnie. You're standing there, like, looking at this body, and they start to move towards it, and then they cut him open and drain the blood and bring it over to you, and you're like, this is it. This is how I die. This is the end. There's nothing left here. I have no choice here. I either run and they're gonna know, or whatever, and you have no idea. And it was a little bit of a Deus Ex Machina to have the others make their escape at that time, but you kind of did set it up a bit as well. It just was.
We gave them the tools. They had the motivation.
Yeah, and for the people that say that that's all it was, you know, we only tell the stories of the people who succeed in escaping. We don't really tell the story. You know, stories don't exist of the people who fail. So if they had all died, that'd be a fairly boring story. You know, so there's got to be something that happens. You know, in the grand scheme.
Adelaide doesn't tend to have a chat with Retfin though. We were right there.
Yeah, in no way am I saying that anybody has plot armor or anything. I will absolutely kill any one of them.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thanks, Logan.
It was never meant to be that moment. That moment was meant to be suspenseful, and to show you kind of the level of which that society goes to protect people. And this idea that they've rushed you into this ritual to kind of see if you were worthy of being one of them, and this idea that you were a coveted student, you know, fresh, that knew nothing, that could be totally molded and had no existing, you know, biases. It was. I just love that whole concept of them being like, no, mine. And you know, the men that brought you there were rewarded very well for that. Well, maybe not anymore, but you know, I felt rewarded very well, and
especially if that blood test comes back.
Yeah, after they brought over the.
I don't know if they can do. I mean, Bonnie is part elven, so I don't know how detailed that test is.
I don't know.
Very good question. We don't know.
Maybe it's a placebo.
And you may never know.
Maybe they just do that to freak you out, and they don't actually care.
But, you know, there's a lot of spells that if you have a part of somebody else, there's a lot of things that can happen.
Hey.
And scry, teleport. There's a lot of spells that say, you know, and they are the youth of a nation. I mean, they are
awesome.
They are clerics. They're casters. You know, and that's what they do.
I love that we were like, man, that's really good that blood test didn't go anywhere. And you're like, what the fuck did you say?
But with that body falling and then bringing you over the chalice with the blood in it, and saying, you know, now we'll see if you're worthy. And you took it, and you're like, yep, let's see if I'm worthy. I'm gonna guess the answer is no, but and you were ready, you were willing, and I learned a lot about Bonnie in that moment. The idea that she's like, I don't even want to be here anymore. I don't want to be doing this. I don't like it, but I'm still going to do the job because that's what it takes. And even though I may have made some mistakes along the way, I'm still going to do what it takes. I'm still going to protect my friends. I just hope that I don't condemn them by doing this, but still, you're going to follow through. And then the noise and everything, and you guys do your escape. And we kind of rushed that a little bit, but I wanted it to be kind of high stakes, quick and fast, that nobody was expecting what was going on. No one at all was expecting that people could do the things that they had done, especially not the idea that when you were that willing to go, sure, yeah, I'll take it. And your servants were there the whole time they didn't see you leave or anything. This idea that you guys were actually running away was baffling. And it wasn't until they saw the bats flying overhead that they realized. And once you had flying bats who were used to this environment, leaving was no problem. But that moment of your willingness to take that whole shifting, that cinematic shifting back and forth between the two situations, that was probably my favorite moment in the last arc.
And we're never gonna go back there of our own volition ever again, right?
Nope.
Unless Bonnie gets kidnapped and brought back to the city.
I already have ideas.
No, you could leave her behind. You could say, fuck this shit, I'm out.
You know we're not going to do that.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
I got so excited because I remembered that I get to actually roll dice as Bonnie. So I got really excited. I was like, where's my dice?
That's right, I have dice.
Ooh, we are out of practice today.
Okay, it's been a little while, and we've been cultivating completely different habits for stream, so got a code switch.
Yep.
And I need to remember to not do Pesky's voice when I'm trying to do Bonnie, because this would be very incongruous.
Bonnie, we're trying to sleep. Please don't do your Punch and Judy show while we're trying to sleep.
I could stand to hear some more.
That was amazing.
Puppets are her new routine.
My new entertainment. I don't have my violin anymore. It's all fucking sock puppets now. I'll wake up. None of you have socks.
I like this idea.
What, did Bonnie stole all of your socks and made sock puppets out of them?
But Adelaide's socks are all black like Bonnie's soul right now, so that's all like a super angsty puppet show.
I don't like life now. And I used to have feet in me.
Hey Wilson, do you know that monetary and personal physical goods are useless because they'll eventually blow up and go away? They'll all just burn.
Everything you love will turn to ash.
That's a little dark, Bonnie. Shut up.
No, she's right.
Yeah, Bonnie isn't the only one who had that happen.
I know.
I've got leather tight pants.
And
It's
that's
my
it.
only secret.
Oh my god, you don't even have a shirt on. I just forgot.
Bonnie, does anyone have thread? I can try to sew a bunch of my handkerchiefs together into some sort of, like...
I have extra clothes. I have like vestments that they could borrow to at least cover up a little so that they're not walking down naked.
I had bought 3 sets of armor in different colors.
Val, it's fine.
right.
I'll just cut a hole in the middle of a hanky, and then he can just wear it like a poncho.
It's called an ascot.
Not if you cut a hole in the middle of it.
Arthur can silent image a couple nipple rings.
Oh wait, I have a bunch of sacks in my bag. Aren't they like potato sack size? He could cut holes in it and use it like a shirt.
As long as it's not the one you had, like, thread sticky duct tape in.
Nope, I had others too.
Okay.
It's ugly as hell, but at least it's a shirt.
Sure.
Yeah, I had to learn how to make clothes out of burlap when I was a kid before I was adopted, so that's not exactly a thing I want to repeat.
Oh.
I mean, it's just better than, walking into town with nothing. And she kind of like gestures at what you're wearing.
In some circles, that's very fashionable and very apropos, but not out in the street.
That was kind of my point.
Fine, I'll take it back.
All right. And she'll hand you a bag. I don't need it back after you're done.
I'll share my coat.
I also have, like, my fancy clothes that if you are very careful with them, you are more than welcome to borrow. I still have 2 sets of clothes, so I'm more than happy to give one to the cause.
No, it's fine. I'll wear the sack because then I'll be able to pick up some money as I go.
Silver lining.
Literally.
He grabs some mud off of the ground and like smears it on his face and in his hair, like very much the.
I was taken to the Underdark, and they put me in chains. I need assistance. You have a whole tragic backstory you can milk now.
That's true.
Merrick, while you're at it, can you pick up Val a new alms box too?
I'm not worried about that.
I don't mind robbing the clergy.
I need some coins because I'm homeless. Now I need a place to put my coins.
Can I have some more coins to buy the box for the coins?
Or can you just give me an alms box?
There's some like gift of the Magi thing in here somewhere.
Adelaide would offer Bonnie her clothes, but warn her that they are bespoke, so I'm not sure how the length's gonna work on you, but you can use it.
I'm not indecent with the coat from Pugnut, so I'm all good. Thank you.
Okay. Good warm-up, guys.
Good recap.
Way to remember our character voices.
Bonnie's character voice is real easy. It's just mine.
All of them, in my case. Merrick's got several dialects.
Yes, he does.
Very true.
I mean, what are you talking about? You sound just fine to me. Totally normal how you've always sounded.
Completely normal.
Hello, dear Goonies. This is Angela. We hope that you're enjoying this Save Point episode of Shenanigoons. We know it's been a little while since you've heard from us, but we are still alive. We just got settled from 2 big back-to-back events. We went to WonderCon this year in Anaheim, California for the first ever Nerdsmith meetup party, which was amazing. And then almost immediately after that, we ran straight into our annual Nerdsmith Subdrive 2019. If you already know about the Subdrive, which ended on April 30th, and the special one-shots that we ran for our community and team members, and the special perks that we had for folks who subscribed or upgraded during the drive, thank you so much for being a vital part of the community that we have built with our blood, sweat, and tears over the last year. We can't wait to show you what we have in store for the future. We are sponsored by some incredibly generous and incredibly nerdy folks. World Anvil is the most robust world-building and campaign management tool on the internet today. Even more, it's a welcoming community for you RPG fans and authors to share your stories and your worlds. It's completely free to try, and there are some amazing premiere features for their guild members. World Anvil, light up the forge. And we are also sponsored by Die Hard Dice, designers and makers of beautiful metal and polymer dice. Whether the numbers are with us or against us any given day here on Shenanigoons, you know as well as I do that a certain few of our players will never give up their dice hoards. Die Hard Dice makes some of the prettiest dice I have ever had the pleasure of owning, and we want to make sure you guys can enjoy that feeling as well. If you go to dieharddice.com and use the promo code GOONIES, 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 you can get 15% off your first or next purchase from Die Hard Dice. Just a little present from us to you. Shenanigoons is a proud member of the Nerdsmith Network. But we aren't just creators, we are also network directors, which means we run the business side of things for the nearly 20 shows and 50 creators at nerdsmith.org. We handle all the administration, upkeep the website, handle marketing and advertising for all the shows on our network, and all in all work very hard to keep the lights on. We want everyone in the Nerdsmith family to succeed, and with that came some hard decisions about the amount of time and energy we have for every plate that we keep spinning precariously above us. Shenanigoons is one of those plates. As editor, it takes me about 15 to 20 hours to create one of these episodes, and on top of all the other things that we directors are responsible for, and clearly shown by the fact that this episode was so delayed, we have to face the reality of how feasible it was to continue the Shenanigoons podcast. Now, didn't mean to make that alarmist. Fear not, we love Shenanigoons as much as the rest of you, and we didn't want to stop playing the game or sharing it with you. So we came up with a scheme that would allow us to continue being jackasses on the air while saving us a little bit of production time. And so it is with this that we officially announce to you, our podcast listeners, that Shenanigoons is moving to twitch.tv/wearenerdsmith. That's right, we will be live streaming our campaign from now on. More importantly, that allows us to transition to a weekly schedule. Yep, from here on out, you will be getting a few hours of live Shenanigoons every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. Again, that's on twitch.tv/wearenerdsmith. Now, we remember our roots, we remember where we came from, and quite a few people have asked if we would be continuing the podcast after we announced this news on Twitter a couple weeks ago. We will be trying to convert the Twitch stream into a rough cut podcast. It won't be as polished as the one you're used to, but you will be getting it way more often, hopefully weekly. Probably bi-weekly. We want to make sure that those of you who are limited to only being able to listen to us can still do so. We don't want you to miss out just because we're trying to make life a little easier for ourselves. But if you decide to tag along with us and watch the live stream, again on twitch.tv/wearenerdsmith, 7 p.m. Pacific on Tuesdays, you not only get to be in chat while we're playing and interact with us a little bit, which we're all excited about, you also will get a chance to affect the story as it goes. We're going to be incorporating some of the audience participation that we've used in the show in the past and add some new stuff live. That means the chance to create an NPC for a scene we're currently in, throwing us a lifeline or a bit of trouble by gifting a reroll to us the players or to Logan. Please don't give Logan dice. Please, I beg you. Or even causing a wild magic surge. I'm sure that will go great. No joke, that was real. Gulp. So, we officially started streaming last week, and we already have a Session 0 and an Episode 1 in our new story arc on Twitch. But if you would like to catch up and maybe try to catch us live, you can find us, as always, on the content page at nerdsmith.org. We really hope that you'll enjoy the direction we're taking Shenanigoons, the fact that we get to play it more often, and we hope to see you in chat. If you'd like to help us keep doing what we're doing, you can join us on Twitch for any of our donation options while we're playing, or more importantly, you can go to nerdsmith.org/support and find out how you can help us make the content that we love so much. Alright, that's enough exciting news for one day. Let's get back to the save point so we can get you caught up so you can join us live for Shenanigoons. Welcome back from our very quick diversion break.
Yes, welcome back.
So we get back to the city, though, before we do the leveling montage. Are we going to have an opportunity to talk a little bit about what happens between us getting there and then leveling?
So when you get back to the city, you saw pillars of smoke, which is not uncommon in the city, just where they were. Being an industrial city, pillars of smoke is actually fairly common. These were not smoke from chimneys, though. These were fires, and it was actually a tie-in with our sister podcast. Angela took for the first arc in Threads of the Veil, took this idea of proctors going out and investigating the robbery that you guys did in the first half of this arc. So we're kind of going back and forth doing these little Easter egg things. I used it, unfortunately, a little bit like a Chekhov's gun, where it's been talked about now, so you should be investigating it, and it was a little bit too dramatic of a moment. And I may turn it into something a little bit different now that Threads is going on hold and stuff, but Angela, tell us a little bit about what you felt there was going to be.
The basic gist, and what we would probably find out, is that there were a string of arsons going on while we were gone. Just lighting fires everywhere, and that was just something that the proctors were investigating.
Other proctors were handling the investigations.
Yes, that's the basic gist.
Better proctors.
Yes, better, not more experienced.
Higher up proctors.
Yeah, excuse you, Logan.
No.
Platinum.
Not platinum.
But yeah, that was the gist. Is just it's something that the investigative arm of the proctors would be dealing with, rather than us, who we were sort of like still fetchers a bit.
Basically, when the watch can't quite get it done, you call for the proctors, and the proctors are going to come in and they're going to do a real investigation
and have a bit more muscle. So we found out that was just a thing that was going on while we were gone with the fires.
After you guys return back, you guys will have turned in the grimoire. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At that point, you would have been paid
Ooh.
and given your accolades. Not your Adelaides, your accolades.
Are we still a bronze pin?
Yes, you're still bronze pin.
But we're bronze pinned with a head pat.
Yes.
Good
A
job.
bronze pin plus.
There you go. No, we're off double secret probation.
Maybe we were
Or-
put on like triple.
We had our original probation.
Robot house. Sorry.
I saw Tessa bust out a tin whistle, and I'm shocked I couldn't hear it through Logan's mic. I'm like, she's
wasn't
so
actually playing.
quiet.
I wasn't actually playing. I was just doing my
Oh.
fingers.
You were practicing your fingering.
Yeah, I was practicing my fingering.
She's got tongues now, too, so I mean.
Bonnie's gonna be real popular.
It's a party.
Bonnie really leveled. Just not in Bard.
But it was inspiring.
It was incredibly inspiring.
You're the meaning in my life. You're the inspiration.
Okay, I just edited an earlier episode that has aired already long before this happens. And in that episode, Logan told Merrick in narration that
Never happened.
inspiring words from Bonnie helped him to finish. And I don't think Logan realized what he had said, and I didn't know at the time. But upon re-listening, I'm like, wow. It was beautiful.
And that's staying in.
Yep, it can stay in. I rescind my snap.
Did you say stain? What stained?
I got stained too.
Yeah, something, and that's stained. What?
Man, it was so funny.
That's not okay.
She's real good with her mouth.
It seemed consensual at the time. He was asking for help.
Anyway.
Okay. Sorry. I have a thing I would like to do before we talk about leveling. Something that would happen within days of us getting back.
Okay.
It doesn't have to require roleplay, but it
Let me finish
may-
up what I was saying.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
So one of the things you have to fill out when you come back from something like this is any equipment that you've lost or have been damaged or anything like that. So a loss report. Specifically, well, one of the big things is they want you to fill out a report about any of their property that you lost or used. So anything you guys used for lost and found. But they also want you to include anything that was damaged that you would have taken of your own personal property, and you'll be compensated for that. So for the week you were gone, everybody will get paid 21 gold, 3 gold per day for the week you were gone. And then in addition to that, Merrick and Bonnie each get paid 5 gold for the loss of their equipment.
Woof. 5 gold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I have not been spending money. I'll be sharing that with the...
Yeah, Val will also contribute.
You're also going to have the opportunity to go to the Lost and Found too, so
Gotcha.
since you're still bronze badges.
All right.
Adelaide, why don't we talk real quick about what you want to talk about, and then we'll get to leveling, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay. Adelaide, pretty quickly after they got back, would want to, how do I say this, sneak back home to talk to her younger brother, because
Sure.
her younger brother was given a violin when he was younger and stopped fucking playing it after a while because he got bored. And she knew it was a decent violin and wanted to see if she could convince him to let her take it from him, because it's probably in a closet somewhere as far as she knows. That was basically the idea that she wanted to...
Did you want to try to convince him, or do you just want to go in and get it, and he might not notice?
Sure, she's got stealth proficiency. Let's see if she wouldn't necessarily want to have that conversation. She might leave a note that's like,
Right wherever it was, like
Winford, I took your violin.
on this day.
Don't bitch at me about it. You played it for a summer and you threw it in here. Basically is what the tone of that
ground.
Yeah, that's what that tone of that note is. But yes.
Winford?
Winford.
All right. Give me a stealth check and let's see if you
Sure.
get caught or not. If you get caught, we'll open up some role play.
Let's see.
This actually reminded me of something that Val was thinking of doing too. I'd forgotten until just now.
Were you also going to steal something from my family's house?
Yes.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
That is a 23.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. I really didn't want to have that conversation.
Yeah. I was gonna say I was hoping you roll a 1. He's like in the closet staring at you when you open it.
He's playing the violin in his room.
He's actually playing it. You take it from his hand.
His cold dead hands.
Okay, so it's not like a starter violin. This is one of those things where it's like, we buy you a very, very expensive instrument because we know you're going to be great at this, and then he just fucking stopped playing it. But she would want to, she would want to give that to Bonnie. Like, it has a case and stuff, and she would at some point find a moment to tell Bonnie that, well, I know that you can't have... I figured if you couldn't have something sentimental, you could at least have something obnoxiously expensive. It didn't cost me anything, just a potential risk of my pride.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
At least someone will get some use out of it.
And she'll tune it up and immediately play something from home. Thank you. It means a lot.
You're welcome. It's the least I could do. I feel like I got you into this mess in the first place, so...
Ding, ding, ding.
No.
Daddy, Bonnie. Teacher says whenever a bell rings, an angel gets their wings.
This is gross. I want to put a veto on this.
Yeah, that's a hard pass, Logan.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
But she also would tell Bonnie while they're there that she always sort of envied the violin. She plays the viola, which her parents made her play so that she could be solid accompaniment to her younger siblings. Like, if that doesn't tell you something about the way she was raised, expected to be a structure of some sort for people to achieve, that at least gives you a little bit of a sense of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that will not go unnoticed to Bonnie.
So I transcribed solos for the viola instead. 'Cause fuck that noise.
Good.
Still not very good, but that's more out of pride and not wanting to be, not wanting to let them feel like they succeeded at something.
Thank you.
I haven't really thanked any of you for helping. I was not doing as well as I thought I was going to be. Have a tendency to want to just do things on my own, but despite all of the steady failing upward it seems we've been doing, thank you for helping me.
That's what friends are for.
Good resource to know about.
What, friends?
I hung out with adults a lot as a kid. Found them a lot more interesting.
Kids can be jerks.
Mm.
So can adults.
Oh, I mean, just see the wonderful characters around here.
I was gonna say, Robin seems like a treat.
Yeah, but, nice people don't always get shit done. So you can respect them on that point.
I'd like to think that's the exception, not the rule. But that's probably fairly naive.
I'd love to be wrong.
Trying to walk that fine line between optimism and stupidity.
That is an uneasy tightrope with us five.
I should send some money back to my folks.
Are they in dire straits so much?
Small fishing village, there's not really a lot of opportunity. And both mom and dad are getting older, and it's harder on the body to fish and work on boats, and be a dockhand.
Hmm.
Hell, I've even got scars across my knees from building and scrubbing decks from a young age. It's, I'm not exactly old by any stretch of the imagination, I guess.
You... Wait, how old are you?
18.
You're a baby.
Yep.
With far more experience than some. You'll be fine.
It's funny because back home I'm considered, well, not an old maid, but neglecting my duties.
I see.
Yeah.
It can be very difficult, striking out on your own when you have a bit of a expectation, like you said.
Yeah, especially when that expectation is right in front of you with a big, shiny... Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So person, not concept.
Person, yeah.
Oh my.
Very sweet. Just wanted different things. He was content to stay and make a life fishing and never had any desire to leave the Teeth, and I've always wanted off the island. So, said our goodbyes, and here I am.
Well, if my opinion holds any weight, I support the decision.
It does. Probably the closest thing to an actual grown-up I know.
Oh dear.
So we're all in trouble then.
We don't count Robin.
No. Robin doesn't count.
And that is what she wanted to try to contribute to the, this is mostly my fault. At least enough tangents. It's 6 degrees from Adelaide's fault.
All right. So let's go ahead and start talking about leveling. So you guys went through 14 sessions. You went through 7 sessions since the last time you leveled. We went through about a week's worth of gameplay. We're going to be looking at leveling double, 2 levels. And yes?
Val wanted to go back to Show and Tell.
Okay.
To get Bonnie a new coat.
Okay.
And to get Merrick, well, she's going to get Bonnie a coat and see if they can make her some sort of hat to go with it. Because she feels like it would make Bonnie feel better.
Aww.
And then she's going to get Merrick 2 new sets of clothing.
All right.
So that he doesn't have to wear burlap.
I'm sure they still have their measurements.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember a while ago I bought this red coat from you guys?
Well, it blew up.
Can you make another one?
I would toss in a little bit for Val if she bought that stuff.
Okay.
It's like, really?
And if Arthur knew, he would chip in too.
She tell you not to give her money. She's not hurting for money, guys. You don't have to give her money.
Okay.
I don't know how much you guys have, but she's not hurting for money considering our current level and needs.
Neither is Adelaide. Adelaide would proceed to refuse to let Bonnie and Merrick buy their own drinks for a little while, though.
Thank you.
Be like, okay, you guys get to be a little special for a while.
Merrick would continue wearing the burlaps for a bit because he's now that he is given a chance to shave, he looks very much like a child again, and so he's up to his old tricks.
Please, sir.
Which Val will remember fondly, of just robbing people blind in the streets.
It's not robbing if they donate it.
At one point, Arthur, he sees Merrick like not too far away, but within spellcasting distance. He's going to silent image on his arm a giant heart with the word "mom" in it, with the arrow going through, and a couple iron roses there.
Oh my god.
Which, as soon as Merrick sees it, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I do love my iron roses." How dare!
He'll immediately know. And I have to be close. I have to be there to sustain it. So
awesome.
Cal, you are the Iron Roses, aren't you? Or is that's your enemy?
Lotus pads.
Oh, who are the Iron Roses?
Iron Roses are the group that do like fencing. The other family that does the fencing and stolen goods.
I confused
that.
It still works. He just would have done it as a joke. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
It got the reaction I wanted, so.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, if it could make this expensive, I just added up all the stuff that I had beforehand, and it's 105 gold worth of stuff.
Oh, God.
Ouch.
Well, they gave you 5 gold for it.
Yeah. But you didn't have to
It
buy
was
your coat.
105 gold worth of stuff. What did you have?
Adventurer's kit.
My entertainer's pack, my pack itself was 40 gold. My rapier is 25 gold. My arcane focus is 10 gold. Clothes, just that alone.
I mean, it's essentially the stuff that you've accumulated over the course of your life.
Yeah.
I wasn't even counting the cost of my coat in that.
That makes that sort of effect like you lose all your possessions. That's devastating.
Yeah.
As a bronze, I just think the 5 gold is probably the most they give for lost equipment of personal nature.
Oh, yeah, no.
The issue, their point being, why would you take everything you own?
Sure.
I was like, holy fuck.
Because part of the job description of a murder hobo is that you carry everything with you. You never know when you're going to get into the shovel dungeon, and you'll need one of the shovels that you.
We're gonna have to get Bonnie a fanny pack of holding so she can keep it on her person at all times, but then keep all her shit inside it.
Yeah.
That's not trying to replace my shield.
You need a shield? Shit.
Because I'm an up close fighter bard.
Gotcha.
I'm sure Merrick's is even more expensive because he had thieves' tools and all sorts of stuff.
Okay, Val has extra weapons.
Yes, she does. She has a shit ton of weapons.
But
Bonnie with a warhammer.
I have a warhammer and I have a mace.
I can't use this.
Oh.
I have extra leather armor, light armor, if anybody wants that.
Oh shit, I didn't even calculate armor.
There you go. I'll give it to Merrick.
I have to see what kind of armor I can wear.
Is it magic?
You're medium, so
You'll have to.
Bonnie.
You can get it resized.
So we'll turn the shin guard into a breastplate, and you're not that tiny, I know. I'm just being an ass.
And I'm like, oh, I feel 10 pounds lighter.
Oh, I have some of the cave fisher claws. Do they have claws that
Turn
are
them into like a fisticuffs sort of weapon.
Oh, wait, I have the cave fisher head. Maybe you could turn that into an awesome looking shield.
we have the snail shell.
We do have the snail shell. We would have, within the week, we would have come back for it.
Let's see if it's still there.
I mean, honestly, it depends on how people are feeling. Maybe we would grab it on the way out of the forest.
Yeah, I mean, we left it in the cave. We didn't leave it like
Oh, right, it was way too heavy
or
though.
something.
Yeah.
We would have had to get a cart or
You
something.
guys need a cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would rent a cart and come back for it.
It might weigh less now if the snail has started rotting inside it.
Gross.
I know. That's why I said it with a grimace.
Yeah, I had a chain shirt, so that's another 50 gold on top of that.
All told, everything that I had was 155 gold.
Yeah, same. Exactly 155 gold.
Did you guys have enough? I can chip in.
I have a light crossbow that one of you can have that I never use.
I will likely be stealing most of that money back.
Jiminy Christmas, that is like
Puts things
brutal.
into perspective, right? Like how much money you accumulate and stuff you accumulate.
I was like, it wasn't a big deal. I only had like 10 gold, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a lot of stuff. Well, what am I picking and choosing out of the 30 gold, the 26 gold I have?
Bonnie, I could double that if you wanted, without hurting me at all. So I can help you both out. I'm a woman of simple needs, and all the expensive shit I already have.
So let's go ahead and talk quickly about your 2 levels that you guys are getting. Just give us a little insight into what new abilities you may have and what you're excited about. All right, who wants to go first?
So, in the Adventures in the Underdark and in the subsequent period of training and reflection afterwards, I feel like he became a little bit more dexterous, especially having to fly on a bat and climb on bookshelves, parkour over spider webs and all that jazz.
Parkour.
And I think he learned a little bit in what happened. You know, he like applied his mind a bit more, so his intelligence went up a little bit as well. So he got that. And then also I don't know how to do this in flavor. He got uncanny dodge as well.
He learned how to juke people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
when he was trying to steal money as a child, he just discovered it was really easy to just sort of like dodge out of the way when they tried to grab him. And then he decided to apply it.
Sure, we could go with that.
If you can dodge a brick, you can dodge a ball.
Someone threw bricks at you? No.
What's better than wrench?
Who threw bricks at you, Merrick? I need to go explain to them that you don't throw bricks at children. Even though you're not a child, they didn't know that.
It's intent that matters. So that's what you got?
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, my hit points went up.
Oh, woo. Same for everybody. Yay, less squishiness. So Adelaide, when she got back, had that arrow that she had collected from the drow and proceeded to eventually make her way to getting in contact with her drow friend, which she now knows they're called the drow, and basically tell him what happened, but then also tell him, I need to be better. I was off my game. Like, I shouldn't have gotten captured. That was bullshit. And I know more about you, and I know more about the drow now, and I want to learn. And so, she kind of honed a bit of her archery skills. She got a lot more dexterous, like Merrick did, but considerably. And, she also learned how to be twice as fast with her shots, so she can actually get off 2 attacks in the span of what would normally take her 1 attack to hit someone.
Nice. Very nice.
So for Val, while being in the Underdark, she spent a lot of time thinking about, sort of what decisions were going to work best for our group so we didn't get into trouble. So she definitely feels a little wiser after that whole situation. And surprisingly, she feels like being underground and all of the things we went through really improved her sort of stamina and constitution.
We did have to walk around a lot.
Yes. And then while communing with her goddess on our breaks and everything, and really being underground closer to graves than she probably is on a daily basis and things like that, she really got in touch with her inner connection to Wayuna and has learned a lot of new spells. Once she got back, she suddenly found herself feeling able to try some new ones. So she has things like mass healing word.
Yay!
Which, that's not useful or anything.
Nah, we're good.
Awesome.
I'll go next. So Arthur was taken away again at some point by Wayuna off to where she takes him, where time just kind of stops and he does his training and whatever. And he basically learned from all of his recent failures. So he learned a feat called Shield Master. It allows him to shove creatures with his shield. And he learned it from when he was attacking the snail, and just his abilities for better defense. Also adds my shield's AC bonus, which of 2, to any dex saving throw I make against effects that target only me. And it allows me to take half damage on a success, and I can use my reaction to take no damage at all. And along with that, he learned the Eldritch Invocation Thirsting Blade. For all the times that he missed, he gets a second chance to miss.
Oh, shit.
That's one way to put it.
That's awesome.
And the spells that he learned 2 new spells. One requires Wayuna's Raven's Feathers, which he's given use of in order to fly.
Oh, shit.
And the other spell he learned was it also incorporates the Raven a bit, was Misty Step. Instead of a fog, this takes the form of a translucent silvery raven Many ravens just kind of circle around him for a raven mist, if you will. And then he teleports.
Nice. That's awesome.
Very cool.
Teleports away.
Nice.
I love it.
And that's pretty much it. Oh, and the hit points, yeah.
Oh yes, Val also got hit points, which is important.
So Bonnie, in that whole adventure, kind of is taking a bit of a cue from her teachings of Lutana and becoming a little bit more self-assured and a little bit more charismatic, if you will, in the ability to put herself out there a bit more, and seems to have adapted well to that.
Plus, she lied real good that whole time.
Yes, she did.
Yes.
And also now have learned even more of the value of languages, has picked up tongues, so she can speak all of the languages, and because she's really, really homesick, also sending.
Aww.
And that's really all for Bonnie.
Those are clutch spells, man.
And hit points. I hope you got hit points.
Hit point. She's a little bit tougher.
From now on,
We
that
need
goes
people to
without.
be less
That
squishy.
almost goes without saying at a certain point.
Although her AC has gone down by about 3 because she doesn't have her
Oh.
anymore.
Oh no.
It's a little easier to hit.
What do you need?
Shane,
I can cast Shield of Faith.
don't worry about it. We'll figure that out afterwards. Yes, that's about it. So Logan, how did you level up during this point?
But you can share your leveling by telling us what sort of creatures we'll be facing in the next few episodes.
And their defenses.
Yeah, and their AC. Did their hit points
Yeah.
go up?
Big, ugly ones.
What are they resistant to?
Everything.
Other than Arthur.
Who did they train under?
All the cats that are meowing.
It's just mine. That's one cat.
That's only because I'm not
Repeatedly.
pushing the button at the moment.
Sounds like the cat's going, wow. It's his,
Yes, that's what his meow
it's his
sounds
Christopher
like.
Walken impression.
Or Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. When he's in the background yelling, he just constantly going, wow. Wow.
That's like so sarcastic.
Wow.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
You guys got hit points. Wow.
Okay, so we recapped. We filled in a couple of gaps. We talked about our levels. What else we got? We got for the save point. Anything else?
Role playing out, getting your new stuff for the Proctors and your next mission, I think.
Woo!
Ignatius.
Go ahead and do the your snail as you guys get your cart and head out into the woods to this old cave deep within the woods. You guys do retrieve your snail. It is a little bit lighter as the snail inside is drying out, starting to smell really bad though. And if you guys want to take some time to start carving out the snail, you could probably lighten it a lot more. But you got the cart there. You've got some equipment. And you start to bring it back into town. Just the shell weighs 250 pounds.
And we've determined that the magic is well gone on it. It's just the shield, or whatever we make it into now. You said that it didn't last very long. It was going to fade.
It's still got about 3 weeks worth of its life left.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it died within 5d6 minutes while you guys were still doing it.
Okay.
And the wailing could be heard for 600 feet around.
Logan, it sounded like you didn't know how numbers worked, and 5d6 was the number you gave us.
Like 56 with 5d6?
Yeah.
Yeah. 5d6 minutes later. That's how I'm going to say all numbers now.
5d6, 5d7, 5d8.
Yeah, so the shell is well coveted for even afterwards, because it is the perfect material to make spell guard shields out of and robes of scintillating colors.
Ooh.
So you guys get it back. Where are you going to sell it?
I feel like Merrick would be the best person to ask.
Riku?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, Riku.
You could ask her. At least if she knew somebody.
So you go to the NC Riku and you tell her what you've got, I assume?
Yeah, it wouldn't fit up the staircase.
drew a picture and then like a person so that she got a sense of scale.
And a banana next to the person.
Got it. She tells you that she has a buyer that's always interested in magical animal components, especially this one. And she tells you that she will want her cut, obviously, which will be probably normally 20%, but you'll probably talk her down to a sixth. Make it easy. Do math easy.
Oh, wait, shit. Doesn't Merrick owe Riku money? Or don't we all owe Riku money?
For what now?
She asked for a percentage of whatever we made off of the grimoire. I don't remember what the percentage was, but Adelaide can cover it.
We didn't make anything off the grimoire.
Okay.
Yeah, we donated.
If that's your story, sure.
I mean, we earned 21 gold each, so we could give her a percentage
That was her
of that.
daily wage
Yeah.
for doing the work.
You can explain that to her. I will not be partaking in that particular attempt at persuasion.
By the way, had you not brought the grimoire back, you would have gotten paid anything as a bronze level.
Well, then.
So just be aware. So yes, by bringing it back, technically you succeeded and you were paid. So you tell her that you got the grimoire after she asks, but that you didn't make anything off of it. It was a donation.
Yep.
Okay.
I can always steal it back. I know where it is now.
Yeah, good luck with that. So let's say that she's going to want a third after that then.
Yeah, considering she's not getting paid anything for the map, I think that's fair.
So after that, a couple days later into your kind of downtime as you guys are training and things, she'll give you a call back. And after she takes her cut, you each are awarded 500 gold.
Valuable snail.
Oh, yes.
I am glad we went back for that.
Oh, he feels much better.
Oh.
After that, you are heading back to the proctors, to the institute to get your new job and to check out the lost and found and get geared up, or at least check out what equipment you may be available to you. And you head on down and meet up with
Ignatius.
Ignatius.
Well, that's his full name. His name is
Ig.
Ignatius.
All right, and you walk up to the counter, and he's kind of standing there. His hands are shaking a little bit. Got kind of a palsy going on, and he's yes. Who's there?
It's your favorite up-and-coming bronze level proctors.
He kind of takes his glasses. He looks close at you and tries to look you up and down. Doesn't ring a bell.
We'd like to take a look at the...
He slides the bell over in front of you.
Arthur will use Mage Hand for the first time and ring the bell.
Oh, now I've got it. Yes. He slides the bell over. You're what are you here for? Are you here to drop some stuff off, return some of that equipment that you borrowed?
Was that not an indefinite loan, just by virtue of being...
If you need to continue to use it, you just need to fill out these forms. So he slides over a little packet of forms.
At the concept of paperwork, Adelaide's fingers start hurting from the cuts from the... back in the city.
Well, I know what Adelaide's hell is going to be like.
Yep.
Arthur still has his healing potion, and he's contemplating actually just to avoid the paperwork, putting the potion back in.
We can buy our own.
He's really thinking about it. How many pages are there?
2.
All right, he'll keep it and start filling it out.
All right.
Yeah.
If you want anything else, you'll need to fill out this one as well. He hands you a 3rd page.
We didn't fill one out last time.
Oh, then you're going to need to fill these out too. It hands 2 more pages on the table.
Thank you for your thoroughness.
Bureaucracy is a nightmare.
Oh, thank you for the reminder. I forget sometimes. Would you like to see what's available? It's chock full today.
Can Bonnie use prestidigitate to just touch the paper and fill in the info? repeatedly.
Like it'll
just
last
leave them.
for 10. It'll last for a minute. It'll go.
That's
away.
okay. We'll go through the lost and found very quickly and leave.
Can we look through the lost and found before we fill this out? That might give me a bit of motivation.
I suppose, yes, necessary, because you'll need to know what to do. Here you go. And he starts pulling up 3 bins of just stuff and putting them on the counter.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there was all sorts of things that have been discarded and left behind, and things that are not proper for a proctor of any higher rank.
Well, waste not, want not.
Yeah, of course. Yes, let's waste not. Here, let's see what's in here. Here's a couple of potions. The labels have fallen off again.
Of course.
Oh, there's several. He pulls out like 7 different potions and lays them out.
Oh, jeez.
A couple of scrolls missing some letters. I'm sure they'll still work. Some sort of
scrolls work.
some sort of book bag here. Let's put that there.
All right.
He pulls out a small little tray and pours out a bunch of little colorful wrapped taffies on the table. Just dumps those down. There's
Did you drop your... Were those your candies? Did you drop those?
No, those are part of the lost and found. No, that's what they are. There's a cloak that's all just kind of bundled up, sitting there on the counter. A small sapphire, really tiny little ring size, like a sliver of a gem sapphire. There's a rope here, a lantern. Somebody left this quiver. It's quite nice.
Hello.
This weird stick thing, and he pulls out the stick is basically a 2 foot long, about 1 inch thick, and it's got just skulls all the way down the length of it.
Jeez.
No shit, I lost my notes. All right. That's that and this little tiny stone. I hope it's not a kidney stone.
Gross.
Here you are. And he just kind of hands it to Val.
Super gross. Thank you.
Okay. Val will look at the stone to see if it looks like a kidney stone.
It does not look like a kidney stone. It's fairly large.
In my medical opinion, no.
That giant died after passing that.
I think a lot of things would have died after passing that.
Couldn't you have put it back?
Ah.
Oh, I suppose. I don't have the proper tools for that. Oh, and and he dumps out the last bin and a little 6-sided die pops out.
Does anyone recognize any of this stuff?
Do you have any... I mean, is there any... do you have an inventory or an index of what any of this is?
No, if we had that, it'd probably be on the shelves over there.
All right.
Oh, let me check. Gosh, so impertinent. He goes back and starts shuffling through paperwork.
I asked nicely. Did I not ask nicely?
That's
You did. I think he's a little hard of hearing as well as seeing.
Nope.
All right. Thank you.
Val stage whispers, I think he's a little cantankerous, though.
No, that's his brother. Cantankerous.
I was about to say that I could cast Identify, but I don't have a spell focus anymore.
Well, we can just sit with it. I personally don't want to go anywhere for a while. Egg, we will fill out the paperwork as soon as we are sure that we want to make a decision.
Well, if you take it from here, the paperwork needs to be filled out.
I'll fill it out. It's fine.
You weren't in the library.
A good lad. I found some. He comes over. The scrolls are Frostbite and Thornwhip, evidently, but the higher proctors were worried about the fading letters, so wasn't quite sure if they were going to work or not. The book bag evidently holds books. Shocking.
All right.
This here is saltwater taffy. It's magical candy.
I don't know why that tickled me so much. That's wonderful.
Oh, dear.
The lantern is, the lantern reveals hidden things, evidently.
I like the sound of that.
They do denote there's something wrong with it, but they don't say what, so I'm not sure what to tell you there.
Oh no.
The rope is a jump rope. I don't know what that means. This here is a quiver of Alona. That's a type of magical quiver, I believe, that can hold all sorts of things. This rod of the Pact Keeper, but I believe it does a little extra. Something about an extra sacrifice.
Ooh. Oh. All right.
The stone is a stone of good luck, whatever that means. But they say that it doesn't work as often as it should.
The moment that Ig describes that quiver, Merrick and Adelaide look at each other, and you just hear, ooh.
Wah, wah, wah.
Can we use the six-sided die to roll for want or need?
No.
You said that there was a six-sided die that fell out.
Oh, okay, yeah. Merrick picks up the six-sided die, says, what do you say? Whoever rolls the highest?
Oh, sure.
All right. So, Merrick, you throw down the die. What do you want to roll?
What?
What number would you like to roll? Are you hoping for a 6?
Yeah.
Get a 6. And then Adelaide picks up the die and gets a 6. And then,
We just roll
Merrick
for like a
gets
good
a
couple
6,
seconds.
And then Merrick's
I
like,
think
"Oh,
this is
maybe
weighted.
maybe it's weighted." And then I don't know how you're going to determine it's not.
Well, you want to try. Well, you think about rolling a different number other than 6. Like, well, let's see.
Why would you though?
I don't know.
I suppose
You're
you're
want.
like, I guess you're like, oh, I need to roll anything but a 6, and then it only comes up 1 through 5 at that point. So yeah, it basically comes up whatever number you want it to roll.
That's rather useful.
Can I have that in a meta sense?
When you roll the die, you choose the number.
No, I meant can Angela.
Oh, you want to? Oh, I see. You don't want to explain it in a minute. You actually want it.
Yes.
Yes. Every time you roll a d20, you can roll this d6 instead and choose the number.
Okay. All right. Good. Good stuff.
So if you were a cleric and wanted to commune with your god,
I'd always roll.
That's a percentile, though.
Arthur just kind of looks around.
I wonder which one he's going to take.
And he goes over and kind of like palms the rod.
Wow.
Phrasing.
Oh my.
So as you guys play around and learn about these things, he hands you the manifest and some of the notes from the other proctors about why these items are down here in the lost and found.
Oh, God.
The six-sided die, the charlatan's die, is exactly that. That's all it is. There's 2 potions of climbing, as you kind of determine by looking. People just seem to be bothered with actually determining what they are, relabeling them, so they just kind of shove them off. 5 potions of healing. The 2 scrolls are exactly what they say they are, and the fading is actually not going to hurt them. That's one of the reasons they're there.
It's just the end user agreement lost some
The
letters.
saltwater taffy is wild magic candy. Every time you eat one, you roll the wild magic chart. The bountiful book bag holds up to 100 books. It seems to be the only non-upset items. You're not sure why it's here, but also once per week, you can recall a lost book out of it and just pull a random book from the world out of the bag. Thank you to Sigrid, one of our listeners, for that book.
Thank you, Sigrid. Profusely.
The cloak, Bonnie, do you grab the cloak?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you grab the cloak and pick it up, it's just bundled into a tight little ball, but as you grab it and pick it up, a rapier falls out of it.
oh,
Sweet. That saves you time.
cool.
And as you don the cloak and play with the rapier, you realize that you can sheath it into this cloak, and no one can find it on you until you want it back.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then you can pull it out.
I like this.
The sapphire is a life-stealing sapphire. Every time you have it on your person and you kill someone, it grows in value.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't mind?
Are we only allowed to take one thing from here?
Nope, you can take as much as you want.
Oh, fuck yes.
And yes, for the most part, you get to keep everything you take with you. Nobody wants this equipment back. But if you turn it back in, you get credits towards other things. That won't matter now because nobody wants any of this stuff.
Sure.
But later on, you'll have kind of credit limit on what you're allowed to take. The jump rope is as it sounds. You hold on to the rope and you do say the command word, and it sproings 20 feet in the air, taking one person with it.
Cool.
Nice.
The lantern of revealing is exactly as the item in the book. And this is one of those you're going to have to role play out, which means within a 30-foot bright and another 30-foot shadowy, you can see invisible creatures while it's lit. The downside to that is within that radius, all undead are invisible.
Oh my god.
So,
Well,
that's why it's in the Lost and Found.
circumstantially useful, though.
The quiver of Alona is great until you get it about half full when it starts quivering and starts vibrating on your back or your side.
Not to be that person again, but that seems more like a feature than a defect.
Oh my.
How else are you supposed to feel when you have an entire quiver of arrows?
Yeah, that's what everyone thought you were saying.
Thank you. I'm pretty proud of that.
Get rid of some of Adelaide's hysteria, right? Rod of the Pack Keeper.
Punch you in the face.
Oh.
The Rod of the Pack Keeper is a +1 Rod of the Pack Keeper, just like it says. The only downside to it is, and it's pretty severe, is when you use the daily action to recall a spell slot, you have to make an extra sacrifice to it. Either a gemstone worth 100 gold or more, a magic item of any value, or half your current hit points. The Stone of Good Luck is just as it says. The Stone of Good Luck adds +1 to those rolls. But if you ever hit the DC exactly, it counts as a failure, not a success.
Jeez. All right.
So that is what you guys have access to.
And there's 5 potions of healing for sure. We should each get one of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are there 5 taffy?
There are 10 taffy.
Oh, so we get 2 each of those. I'm going to take the rod. I'm the only one that can use that. So
Here's what I'll say. Merrick.
Spider Bro!
He's there.
Yay.
Alive!
He's still alive.
This is the first time that Spider Bro has been featured on Shenanigoons.
Yes, it has, because Spider Bro only appeared 2 or 3 days ago. I have a little jumping spider that runs around my desk and eats the ants on my desk. Why are there ants on my desk? Because I live in the fucking country.
So who wants what?
I can fly now, so I don't need the rope.
I was going to ask if I could have the rope, that it might be useful for me to get up in places that I need to be able to hit things.
It's fine.
Not by me. I already have pretty decent ability to climb, so.
I'm not super strong, so I could use maybe something to help me get higher.
That's a good point.
You mind if I take the cloak and the rapier?
You're already wearing it.
That seems completely reasonable to me. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's fighting you on that one.
Merrick, how about you take the quiver? I'm willing to throw that dice roll.
All right.
I would like the book bag, please.
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
That does not surprise me in the least. Val would like... Oh, well, Heather wants the Stone of Good Luck. I'm just debating whether or not Val actually needs it as opposed to other people.
I kind of really want that Sapphire of Life Stealing.
Go for it.
Take it. That's fine.
What was the lantern thing? Lantern of Revealing?
See invisible creatures, but undead become invisible. Just don't use it around the undead then, right?
Now, with the Sapphire, do you have to land the killing blow?
Presumably.
It says if you kill a creature, so yes.
Okay.
Val will pick up the lantern. I already have a lantern, but...
This one seems like it would be good for you.
Well, not only that, but I can sense undead.
There you go.
So even if I can't see them because of the light, I'll still have a way to tell they're there.
Sounds perfect. Can I have a potion of climbing then? Because if I need to get somewhere higher than 20 feet, and I take the potion and then jump up 20 feet, I could proceed to go higher.
Or perhaps you need to climb back down.
Fair.
Do you like the die, Merrick?
But yeah, I'd like to die.
Go for it. I will be checking if we ever play something.
I'm more of a 3-dragon anti-guy myself.
Okay, and then are we each going to take 2 of the saltwater taffy?
Mm-hmm.
It seems fun. Logan, of course, you don't have to have this prepared right now, but Adelaide will immediately, after filling out the paperwork, try to retrieve a lost book from the book bag. But, we can talk another time about what that book is, and I'll just weave it into the next episode or whatever if she's just goofing off.
All right.
Was the stone anything?
Is it the Stone of Good Luck?
Oh, okay. I was just making sure somebody grabbed that if it was something.
Yeah, Val has it. It's a +1 to your ability checks and saving throws.
Except if you hit the DC exactly, it'll be a failure.
Correct.
So it's the Stone of mostly luck.
Honestly, I mean, statistically speaking, you don't hit the exact DC very often, so I feel like it's
time.
still a benefit.
What are you talking about?
So Merrick, that's a quirky quiver of Alona.
The quiver of Alona of quivering. Quivering quiver of Alona. All right. So, is there anything else we need to do?
I don't think so.
Cool. I think we got it together.
Other than to tell the listeners that we're done with conversations at this point.
Yep. We'll be moving on to a new arc after this episode. So, yeah.
Woo.
Perfect.
I'm just going to assume that Bonnie goes out afterwards and buys the stuff that she's missing.
That's fine. Well, you got a rapier.
Yeah.
And the money.
I don't have clothes.
She has a dress and a coat.
You got a cloak and a jacket. That's all you need.
Cloak and a jacket and a super slutty dress.
What else do you need?
As a bard, probably not much else.
Just for every occasion.
Armor would be nice.
You'll probably get some really good deals at shops if you wear that dress when you go.
I was going to say.
Can I speak to your manager?
It is a little boobtastic.
My name is Karen.
And on that note...
Don't forget, beloved listeners, that we are going weekly and we are going live streamed on twitch.tv/wearenerdsmith every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. We hope to see you there. Okay, we're done, but I have one more thing to tell you. Okay, so every week here at the network, we want to signal boost one other Nerdsmith show to help you find something new to get obsessed with. And today, I want to talk to you about WAND Radio, a fictional advice show hosted by 3 college radio DJs at a magical university. Calliope, Emmett, and Rupert take listener questions, keep you up to date on the latest news and events going on around campus, try magical items sent to them, and generally act a fool. And remember, they are not responsible for the continued purity of your unicorn. If you like Shenanigoons, specifically the points where we break character and lose our minds, WAND Radio is definitely worth a listen. Always irreverent, very often inappropriate, and absolutely entertaining. You can find WAND Radio at nerdsmith.org. Follow them on Twitter at wand_radio. Send in your magical queries and problems, and Calliope, Emmett, and Rupert will try their best to give you their very best advice. Full disclosure, though, I can't guarantee that their advice will not get you expelled.